et messieurs, you have to stay back, please. The area is dangerous because of shotgun. Please stay back.
In the minutes after the attack, the police in Paris took every movement as a threat. At this stage, officers didn't know if any other gunmen might still be at large. The shooting happened right in the centre of the city, as Parisians and tourists were heading out to dinner.
I was walking on the pavement. There was a bus full of police. The man parked just in front of the bus, and then he got out a Kalashnikov, and then he shot 6 times. I thought it was fireworks. Then he went and hid behind a lorry.
We were moving towards a car and then I heard 2 or 3 shots, but I didn't realise they were shots to start with, and well, then there was just panic all around. Everyone started running down the Champs-Élysées just by instinct. I didn't stop to work out what was going on. I just ran too.
The Champs-Élysées was already full of police officers guarding against an attack on civilians, but it seems that this shooting targeted officers themselves.
We are convinced that the track the investigation is on will reveal that the event is of a terrorist nature.
Late into the night here, the police are still stopping people from approaching the scene of the attack just a block or so away in the Champs-Élysées. And everyone around here wants to know exactly what happened. The police want to make sure that all nearby streets are now safe. Officers kept their handguns drawn. They searched everyone coming out of a nearby building. This country will now investigate the shooting and make sure that its plans for Sunday's presidential election are in place. James Reynolds, BBC News, Paris.
This is a Fox News alert. Hello, I'm Greg Jarrett. An attacker with an automatic weapon opened fire on police in Paris's iconic Champs-Élysées shopping district a couple of hours ago, killing 1 officer, seriously injuring 2 other officers before police then turned their guns and killed him. Paris police are saying the attacker, who had been previously flagged by authorities as an extremist, targeted officers that were guarding the area very close to the Franklin Roosevelt subway station. That's at the center of the avenue, so very popular with many tourists. They say that the gunman appeared to be acting alone. They have not yet been able to confirm that. Police and soldiers sealed off the area, ordering tourists back into their hotels, blocking people from approaching the scene. Counter-terrorism officials are involved right now in this probe. The attack coming a mere 3 days before the first round of balloting in France's 10th presidential election. The 2 main candidates have now suspended their campaigns. Security is very high preceding the vote after police said they arrested 2 men just 2 days ago in what they described as a thwarted terrorist attack. But in today's attack, the shooter reportedly came out of a car, opened fire on a police vehicle. It appears the officers were deliberately targeted, that according to Paris authorities. Emergency vehicles quickly blocking the very wide avenue cutting across central Paris near the Arc de Triomphe. And normally that is packed with cars and tourists. Now it appears to be fairly empty and idle. Subway stations have been closed off. Security forces are more widespread in Paris since the deadly Islamic extremist attacks over the last couple of years. France remaining under a state of emergency this hour, and the French president, Francois Hollande, scheduling an emergency meeting tonight. So that is the latest news. The gunman is dead. 1 police officer has been killed. 2 others have been seriously wounded.
Let's go to our London bureau right now. Keir Simmons is following developments for us. Keir, what do we know?
Well, Lester, as the president there talking about fighting terrorism, the scenes in Paris will be frighteningly familiar to many people. We don't yet know the motive of what appears to be an attack on French police in the world-famous Champs-Élysées. NBC News told by French police an assailant opened fire on 2 police officers, and the police, fired back. 1 officer was killed and the other seriously injured in the shooting. Lester, Reuters reporting that at least 2 two attackers were involved in this Paris shooting, one of them killed. What Reuters hasn't said at this stage is what has happened to the other alleged assailant, whether that person is still on the loose. But as you mentioned, French police are urging people to stay safe. Our producer who spoke to French police told to stay inside, to stay safe. Reuters reporting one witness saying that a man got out of a car and fired on police with a Kalashnikov. So that paints a worrying picture in a city that has seen attacks before, in a continent that has seen many attacks over recent years, and just days away from the elections in France on Sunday. Lester?
Yeah, the first round of balloting this Sunday, has that resulted in a step up of security on the streets already in Paris ahead of whatever happened here?
Well, the French are already on a high alert after the list of attacks that we've now seen in France, and notably, of course, that attack back in 2015 in which 130 people were killed. So they are ready for this. They have also seen a number of, if you like, more minor attacks happen just in recent weeks. And then, of course, there was the Nice attack in which a vehicle was used to kill many people. Again, Lester, at this stage, we do not know the motive for this, whether this was a criminal act or whether there are terrorist intentions behind what's happened here. But according to our own reporting and what is being reported by Reuters, it does seem as if the police have been intentionally targeted and have fired back, Lester.
And we recall that machete attack on police officers there at the Louvre back in February. So a city that has certainly been on edge for over a couple of years in the recent terror issues. And as you noted, ahead of the first round of presidential balloting coming up this weekend. As we look at those live pictures from the Champs-Élysées, do we know if whatever happened on that street or in that shopping neighborhood, Kier?
Well, it does appear to have happened in that neighborhood at the very least. You can see that most of that world-famous shopping street is closed off, and of course we should mention that there will have been many people from overseas there. It's Paris at this time of year is a beautiful city. It is a place that is particularly beautiful in the evening, and it is evening now in the French capital. So there will potentially have been many tourists on the street. Whether this is an attack that specifically targeted the police, it does appear, according to the reports, that that is the case, and that therefore, if you like, civilians will not have been in danger, but there will be many frightened French nationals and people from around the world right now, because the pictures that we have seen are the French police clearing that area, making it safe, because of course, Lester, right now French police will be trying to figure out for themselves exactly what has happened here, and crucially, and perhaps they know this already, but crucially, one question appears still open at this hour, and that is, if there were, as the French police appear to suspect, two attackers involved in this shooting, where is that second attacker?
Just invaded Vienna. We can see the Islamic Army now. It's moving right towards us.
The country's most rapidly growing demographic is Muslim, with Mohammed now the most popular name.
Imran is looking forward to replacing Belgian law with Sharia law.
London is once so ethnically diverse that white Britons are now a minority.
Europe is finished.